Hello, my beautiful and radiant Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for remembering the brilliant, unshakable light that you are. If you have found your way to this message at this very moment, I want you to feel deep within the chambers of your heart that this is not an accident. This is a divine appointment. The universe, in its infinite and loving wisdom, has guided your spirit here because it knows. It knows you are ready to hear a profound truth that is about to change everything. Pause with me for just a moment. Before we journey deeper into this revelation, I invite you to find a quiet space. Take a slow, intentional breath in, filling your lungs with golden healing light. Hold it for a count of 3. Feeling the power gathering within your chest. And then exhale, slowly releasing everything that has felt heavy, everything that does not belong to you. Let your shoulders soften. Let that magnificent, generous heart of yours open just a little wider, because a powerful truth is about to be spoken, one that your soul has been waiting to hear for a very, very long time. My dear Leo, as a child of the sun, your very essence is joy, warmth, and radiant expression. You were born to shine, to lead with your heart, and to illuminate the world around you. But perhaps lately, you've been feeling a subtle dimming of that inner flame. Have you sensed a quiet discomfort, an unease that settles upon you in the presence of certain people, even when their words are kind and their smiles seem genuine? Have you walked away from conversations feeling inexplicably drained, as if your own brilliant light has been siphoned away, leaving a quiet ache you can't quite name? That subtle tension, that feeling of being a little smaller, a little less. Those are not random feelings, magnificent soul. Those are the whispers of your sacred intuition, your divine inner compass, alerting you to a truth that your logical mind may have been trying to dismiss. You are not imagining it. You are not being overly sensitive. You are awakening to the reality that 2 specific energies in your life have been quietly working to dim your shine, to keep you from stepping into the full glorious power you are meant to embody. This message you are receiving today is not simply a reading. It is a spiritual intervention. It is a sacred activation from the cosmos, a clarion call to reclaim your throne. Today we will step into the light of absolute clarity, and I am here to walk with you, to help you hold that light steady as we gently, lovingly uncover what the shadows have tried so desperately to conceal. If you feel the resonance of this truth stirring in your soul, if your heart is whispering, "Yes, I want you to make a sacred pact with your own liberation right here, right now." Declare your readiness to the universe by going to the comments and typing, "I'm ready to know who the 2 people hurting me are." Let this be more than just words on a screen. Let it be a powerful seal upon your intention, an anchor for the transformation that is already beginning. And if this journey feels like coming home, please subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom so we can continue to walk this path of awakening together. You see, my brilliant Leo, betrayal doesn't always arrive with the thunder of a storm. Sometimes its cruelty is far more insidious. It creeps in with the softest of voices, with familiar smiles and gestures of concern. Sometimes the very people who seem to be your biggest fans, who stand in the front row of your life, applauding, are the ones who are secretly hoping you don't shine too brightly, for fear it will expose their own shadows. The 2 energies we are about to bring into the light are likely not strangers. They may be woven into the very fabric of your daily life, close trusted, perhaps even loved. But their intentions, whether conscious or not, are not aligned with your soul's expansion. And today, with grace and courage, you will finally see why. This moment is not about placing blame or starting a war. Oh no, your heart is too noble for that. This is about you remembering the divine, unshakable power that resides within you. It is about reclaiming the sovereign peace that is your birthright. It is about tenderly breaking the spell of emotional obligation and subtle manipulation that has held your glorious roar in a state of silence for far too long. Because here is the ultimate truth: the universe, God the divine, whatever name you give to that great loving intelligence, never intended for you to carry the weight of other people's insecurities. This season of your life is not a punishment. It is a holy purification. It is a profound elevation. You have already endured enough, magnificent soul. The confusion, the loneliness of being misunderstood, the endless second-guessing of your own brilliant intuition. But now, a new chapter begins, a chapter of unapologetic light. And it all begins with this sacred, liberating truth. Let us journey together, shall we? What you've been feeling, my dear Leo, is not random. That sudden weariness that washes over you when you're around certain individuals, that subtle clenching in your heart space, that lingering sense of heaviness that follows you home, even after a seemingly pleasant exchange, these are not just fleeting moods. These are the echoes of your soul, the vibrational feedback from your spirit, speaking louder and louder now because you have reached a pivotal moment in your journey where ignoring them is no longer an option for your growth. Your spirit is crying out for authenticity. In the sacred language of the tarot, these energies do not surface by chance. The presence of the Seven of Swords, the Moon, and the Two of Swords in your energetic field is a profound cosmic signal. These cards don't just hint at a minor disagreement. They point to a much deeper story of concealed manipulation of shadows masquerading as love, and of a heart-wrenching indecision that can only arise when the truth has been deliberately veiled by those you trust. There is a particular kind of cruelty, a slow-acting poison found in a false peace. It's the kind of environment where someone smiles warmly at you, offers you help, or checks in on you, not from a place of genuine love, but from a place of subtle calculation and control. It is designed to keep you feeling just comfortable enough that you never question the bars of the cage. One of these individuals, one of these energies likely operates from a space of distorted logic, a place where they wield their intellect like a weapon. They may cloak their dominance in the guise of good advice or just being honest, but their words are laced with a subtle venom that leaves you questioning your own magnificent dreams, your own sound judgment. They are the voice that whispers, "Are you sure you can do that? Be realistic." And for a soul like yours, Leo, born of the sun's limitless fire, the command to be realistic is the cruelest prison of all. The other energy is wrapped in a cloak of emotional need. This person relies on your vast, generous heart, pulling on the strings of your compassion until that compassion becomes a leash. They may skillfully play the victim, using tears or expressions of neediness to guilt you into giving more of your time, more of your energy, more of your light, until you are left feeling utterly depleted. Together, these two energies create a suffocating web of false balance, a delicate illusion that has kept you suspended in a state of uncertainty, forever dimming your own light so as not to upset the fragile ecosystem they have built around you. And you, my loyal, great-hearted Leo, have stayed in that space. Not because you are weak, oh no. You have the heart of a lion. You have stayed because your capacity for loyalty is boundless. But even the most loyal heart must recognize when a space is no longer safe for the soul to thrive. What makes this revelation so deeply challenging is the closeness of these energies. These are not distant enemies you can easily identify. These are people who know your rhythms, who have shared laughter with you, who have perhaps even witnessed your vulnerability. That very familiarity is the camouflage they have used, the reason their subtle influence has gone undetected for so long. But your intuition, that ancient fiery compass gifted to you by the cosmos, has been fully activated. And when the moon card appears in a reading, it shines its mystical light not just on the illusions, but on the sacred invitation to see beyond them. You are being lovingly asked by the universe to look past the masks, to feel beyond the words, and to tune into the pure energy of a situation. Ask your heart right now, who do you feel most drained around even when nothing explicitly negative is said? Who do you leave feeling smaller, less confident, or less joyful, even if they have just showered you with compliments? The moon and the Seven of Swords, when they dance together, reveal a profound cosmic lesson. Not every storm that rages in your life is an external force of nature. Sometimes the most devastating storms are the quiet people who don't raise their voice, but who skillfully and silently silence yours. The ones who never strike you, but whose presence constantly makes you feel like you are not quite enough. These are the subtle thieves of light. They are the ones who take from you the very thing you may have forgotten you possessed, in boundless quantities, your innate, unshakable joy. They don't steal it from you in a brazen act of theft. They gently convince you that you were never truly worthy of it in the first place. But now, my beautiful Leo, the fog is lifting. The Two of Swords, which once held you captive in the paralyzing illusion that you had to choose between two equally valid yet painful options, now reveals its true face. One path is the continued draining of your soul, the slow extinguishing of your inner fire. The other path is the quiet, courageous, and unwavering voice of your own truth. You have been afraid to choose that voice, haven't you? Afraid that choosing yourself would be an act of selfishness or betrayal. But let me tell you, this magnificent soul, choosing your truth is not betrayal. It is the ultimate act of alignment. It is restoration. It is the deepest form of healing. This very moment is your spiritual checkpoint. That weight in your chest, that constriction in your heart, that is your soul screaming, "Enough, you were not born into this world to carry the guilt of others on your royal shoulders. You were not put here to serve as the emotional son for those who never bother to ask if you too need warmth in return." And while it may feel heartbreaking to face what these sacred cards are showing you, I want you to remember this and hold it close. The truth is not here to break your heart. It is here to break the chains that have bound it for far too long. When you begin to truly awaken, my dear Leo, one of the first and most startling things you notice is that certain people and places no longer feel as safe or as warm as they once did. Their words, once comforting, now begin to echo with a strange dissonance. Their presence, once a source of joy, now leaves behind a subtle, chilling ache in your spirit. In this pivotal chapter of your journey, the tarot reveals two powerful archetypal energies that have been disguised in your life by closeness, influence, or even what you believed to be love. The reversed King of Swords and the reversed Queen of Cups are not cackling one-dimensional villains. No, their influence is far more complex and therefore far more corrosive because of its subtlety. They represent the insidious poison of manipulation masked as reason, and the heavy chains of guilt wrapped in the soft velvet of affection. Let's speak of the King of Swords reversed. This is the energy of intellect, devoid of compassion. This may be a person in your life who speaks with an air of absolute authority, perhaps a parent, a mentor, a boss, or even a partner. They frame their words with what appears to be flawless logic, with facts and sound advice, but there is always a cutting edge to their pronouncements, an undertone that makes you feel a little smaller, a little less sure of your own brilliant mind. Their influence has systematically led you to second-guess your powerful intuition, to override your emotional truth in favor of what they have deemed makes sense. But you must remember, this Leo true wisdom never seeks to confuse or control. True wisdom liberates, and when the mind is weaponized against the heart, it becomes a sword that you are tragically forced to turn inward upon yourself. Now let us turn to the Queen of Cups reversed. This energy is a different kind of shadow one that works not on your mind, but on your vast and generous heart. Her emotional expression is not grounded in truth. It is a tool for manipulation. She may cry at just the right moments to evoke your sympathy. She may play the victim with breathtaking skill, weaving tales of woe that always somehow position you as the only one who can save her. She tells you how much she needs you, how much she cares for you, but you always walk away from your interactions feeling inexplicably responsible for her happiness, for her very stability. This, my dear Leo, is the energy that has taught you the false and damaging lesson that love is synonymous with self-sacrifice, often the sacrifice of your own peace, your own time, and your own self-worth. That is not love. That is emotional debt dressed up in the costume of loyalty. What makes both of these energies so profoundly disorienting is that they are not outright cruel. They don't yell. They don't break things. In fact, to the outside world, they may be seen as perfectly wonderful good people. And that right there is why you have hesitated for so very long to speak the truth, even to the sanctity of your own soul. You've thought, it must be me. I must be the problem. But deep inside your body has always known the truth. Your magnificent physical vessel does not lie. Your heart tightens when they are near. Your sleep is disturbed after a conversation with them. Your very soul whispers on the gentlest of breezes, you are not safe here, even as your mind scrambles to rationalize their behavior and maintain the peace. This is why it is so critically important for you to understand this. Leo discernment is not judgment. Recognizing when someone's energy is harming your spirit is not an act of unkindness. Pulling your radiant energy away from someone who constantly takes more than they give is not selfish. You are not abandoning others. You are finally bravely reclaiming yourself. And there is nothing in this universe more sacred than that. When the emotional climate around you has been dominated by manipulation, confusion, and this quiet, suffocating control for too long, something deep within your soul begins to push back. That something is not a roar of anger or a declaration of war. It is the gentle, yet unstoppable dawn of clarity. It is the flick of a switch, a single beam of light turning on in a room you didn't even realize you had been sitting in the dark for. That sacred moment is reflected in the tarot by the upright King of Swords. This card represents a truth so pure it cannot be silenced, a mental clarity so sharp it cuts through every distortion, and the power to make decisions from a higher place of unwavering integrity. And in your story, my beautiful Leo, this energy is arriving at the precise moment you need it most. This clarity isn't reactive, it is conscious. It does not need to scream or demand to be heard. It simply sees. And once it sees, it cannot unsee. The upright King of Swords does not represent the need for you to fight back in the way you have had to in the past. This is not about matching their intensity with your own. It is about a profound shift where you allow the simple, elegant power of the truth to do all the heavy lifting for you. When you let this newfound clarity settle fully into your body, into every cell of your being, you no longer feel the desperate need to justify your feelings. You don't have to rehearse speeches or ask for permission to feel what you feel. You simply know. And that knowing, my dear friend, becomes the sacred sword that severs the cords of confusion and sets you free. The more honest you become with yourself about how these energies have truly made you feel, the more impossibly difficult it will be for them to continue to distort your reality. This isn't about punishing those who have hurt you. It is about you no longer allowing yourself to participate in the painful patterns that leave you questioning your own worth, your own light, your own magnificent sanity. There is a vast and crucial difference between forgiveness and tolerance. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself for your own freedom. But tolerance, when it is stretched for too long in the face of disrespect or diminishment, becomes a slow and painful betrayal of your own spirit. The King of Swords energy is lovingly asking you to stop mistaking your pained silence for peace. It is asking you to recognize that true spiritual maturity sometimes means choosing the discomfort of clarity over the false comfort of a familiar cycle. It means choosing yourself finally and forever over the roles you were assigned in other people's stories. When the Six of Cups appears in your reading, it often stirs the gentle waters of memory. It can bring forth people from your past, familiar emotional patterns or feelings you thought you had long since buried. But for you, my magnificent Leo, this card is not arriving to pull you back into nostalgia. It is arriving as a sacred mirror. And this time, as you gaze into its reflection, you are looking at yourself through wiser, stronger, and clearer eyes. You are not the same person who once tolerated what should have been questioned. You are no longer the one who would soften your glorious roar to a gentle purr, just to maintain the fragile illusion of peace. That version of you, while necessary for your survival, then has now given way to a deeper, more discerning, more sovereign self. And that is what this moment is truly about, the profound recognition that the past is circling back, not to trap you, but to test the new foundation of self-love you have so painstakingly built. When a wound from your past repeats itself in a new disguise, a different face, a different name, but with that same eerily familiar emotional pattern, it is never to punish you. It is the universe's way of lovingly asking, "My child, have you truly learned the lesson? Are you ready to respond differently this time?" And you, my dear Leo, are more than ready. This time you see the difference with startling clarity. You no longer fall for the same superficial charm because you have learned to read energy, not just listen to words. You have learned to notice the way your own body tenses up when something feels energetically off. You have trained yourself to listen for what is not being said, to feel the emotional undercurrent flowing beneath the surface of their grand gestures. This is not paranoia. This is not judgment. This is spiritual maturity. This is the quiet, unshakable knowing that your soul can no longer afford to live in the hazy twilight of illusion. And then, like the dawn breaking after the longest night, comes the shift. The Ace of Cups enters your story like a sacred offering from the heavens. It represents a new beginning, not just in love, but in a profound emotional renewal. It is the promise of a love that does not demand, does not guilt, and does not manipulate. It is a love that simply purely and unconditionally flows. Whether this represents a brand new person entering your life or an old connection returning completely transformed and healed, this card is the universe's sacred promise to you. When you finally clear out what is false, you create the sacred empty space for something pure and true to finally enter. You are not destined to repeat these painful stories of betrayal and energetic imbalance forever. You are being lovingly invited to receive a love that honors you, not just desires you. A love that aligns with your healing, not your trauma. You no longer crave the spotlight of fleeting attention. You crave the eternal warmth of genuine peace. And this new connection will never ever ask you to shrink in order to keep it. Then, as if to seal this divine promise, the Two of Cups appears, affirming the beautiful, reciprocal energy you have been longing for, while others were attempting to break you down. Something higher, something divine, was lovingly preparing someone or something to lift you up. This is not just about romance, my friend. It is about partnership in its truest, most sacred sense. A meeting of two whole souls, a merging of energies that mirrors your own back to you without distortion or judgment. The universe does not just remove what harms you, it lovingly replaces it with what heals you. And when it sends someone into your life, at the very moment others are trying to pull you down, know with every fiber of your being that this is no coincidence. This is divine choreography at its most beautiful. The most powerful victories, my dear Leo, are often the quietest. They are not won on a battlefield of loud arguments, but in the sacred stillness of your own heart. When the sun, the world, and the Six of Wands appear together in your reading, it signals not only the definitive end of a long and painful cycle, but the emergence of something truly sacred, your glorious return to yourself. These cards are not asking you to fight harder, to defend your innocence, or to prove your worth to anyone. Instead, they are inviting you to do the very opposite. They ask you to stand still in your magnificent power, to trust the divine unfolding, and to simply allow the light of your own truth to illuminate everything that was once hidden in the shadows. This is the kind of profound transformation that doesn't arrive with loud external applause, but with a calm, deep inner knowing that you have finally stepped out of the storm and into the eternal sunlight of your own being. The Sun card brings a clarity so absolute it is breathtaking. It doesn't just expose falsehood, it warms and it heals. After you have lived under the chilling clouds of deception for so long, the simple warmth of the truth feels like both a profound relief and a stunning revelation. You may have once felt that you needed to explain yourself, to lay out every detail of your story, for others to finally believe you. But the sun, your ruling celestial body, teaches us a powerful lesson. Truth, by its very nature, never needs to beg to be believed. It simply shines. And as your own energy becomes aligned with this unwavering clarity, those who cannot handle the brilliance of your truth will quietly and gracefully remove themselves. You won't have to force a single thing. Illusions, by their very nature, cannot survive in the light. And in this season, my beautiful Leo, the light is most assuredly on your side. Next, the World card arrives to mark a true completion. This is not a surface-level ending. This is a deep karmic closure. You have cycled through the emotional weight of self-doubt, the energetic pull of manipulation, and the soul-testing trials of misplaced loyalty. And now, you are no longer playing the same role in that old, tired story. In the language of the soul, the world speaks of integration, the sacred moment you look back and realize that nothing, not even the deepest pain, was wasted. It all built you. It all brought you to this powerful present moment. And this time, as the cycle finally ends, you are not limping away wounded. You are walking forward with a quiet, regal strength and eyes that see with perfect clarity. And then, comes the glorious Six of Wands, the card of victory and public recognition. But this is not the validation you once may have needed to chase. This is not the applause you sought from the wrong audience. This card speaks of a deep, energetic acknowledgement. You are finally being seen not just by the right eyes, but more importantly, by your own. You see your own worth. You see your own strength. You see your own light. And there is no greater victory than that. The win was never in convincing them. The win was in reclaiming the peace they tried so desperately to take from you. In this moment, Leo, there is nothing more revolutionary you can do than to embrace your stillness. Not the stillness of passivity, but the stillness of sovereignty. You no longer need to explain why you are pulling away. You no longer need to replay old painful conversations to prove your side of the story. The season of over-explaining is officially over. Now, you simply anchor into your truth, and the universe responds, not with punishment for your silence, but with beautiful rewards for your alignment. This is your sacred confirmation. What is truly yours can never be taken by those who never truly honored it. And while others may have scrambled to distort your image, the truth was quietly, patiently building its case in the background. Now, the light reveals all, and you don't even have to lift a finger. That, my magnificent friend, is the power of spiritual maturity. That is the divine reward for choosing to heal instead of choosing to retaliate. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your stillness be your shield, and let your healing be the loudest, most brilliant thing about you. And when the applause finally comes, and it will know that it is not for the mask you used to wear, but for the glorious, authentic soul you finally refused to hide.